The French name.
The seafood. Orange, the scallop orange melange.
A la Walken.
Yes.
Alex, you ever come to New York?
I do come occasionally. Why?
Please call us when you come to town.
But Richard made a terrific arugula salad with braciole.
Braciole, heirloom tomatoes, shaved Parmesan. 2 kinds of oil, sunflower and olive oil, and a little salt.
And we had a little red wine.
That sounds good.
Yeah, Chris is a gourmet.
What's your favorite type of red wine, Mr. Walken?
French.
I hear you.
We like the heavy reds.
Oh, wow. Mr. Walken, we are learning Mr. Belzer's views on the world.
Richard and Chris.
Chris, what is your view on what's happening in the world right now with the TSA and the groping and the surveillance grid? I was hearing that you don't have all the little spy gadgets in your house. I envy that.
I have no idea, and I hardly leave the house.
Chris does not.
I cook.
Read the news.
Richard just gave me his book. I'm going to read it.
Yeah, he'll read my book, thank God.
It's right here.
It's a history book. But Chris is...
but I'm working with Richard on the cooking book. To me, that's...
Right, we're going to do something together. But Chris is brilliant because he doesn't want to be on the Google map, and he doesn't want his phone to have that reverse technology that we all know. Even when it's off, they know where we are. And he's one of the few people I know on the earth that has managed to do that. I mean, we have to do it. We're in media, but he can go to a movie set. They give him a phone that he can throw away when it's over, when he does a play. It's the coolest. I mean...
they only give me the phone so that they can know
where he is. But
showing away my radio/TV show, we're almost invading you right now like an alien probe.
I know. I was taking a nap and Richard called me out, and here I am.
This is unbelievable. But Mr. Walken, what do you think of the whole announcement of that they want to have an Iran war? Do you think that's a bad idea?
I don't know anything about that. He's got a nap, Alex.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Walken.
All right. Thanks.
All right. I'm sorry, Richard, that I brought up serious subjects.
No.
Call him back. Let's ask him his favorite recipe with truffles. Ask him that.
What's your favorite recipe? Well, he made a great chicken. Who? Tell him how you made it.
What's your favorite truffles recipe, Chris?
Truffles.
I like truffles on pasta.
There you go.
Me too. With some shallots, and you like shallots on the pasta, sir?
Absolutely. Olive oil, garlic,
and then a nice French red.
Yes, of course.
What's your favorite French red?
He's gone.
Oh, he's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
I can tell he wanted to talk about food. He didn't want to talk about the New World Order.
No, he's a foodaholic, and I'm the one that is into all this stuff. And like like during the Reagan administration, I tried to explain to him certain things about trickle down economics and how they were raping the government. And he would say, "Isn't it always been like that?" And so what am I going to say?
Well, hey, tell us about this food show. When is that coming out?
Oh, that's just the bit we're doing for Funny or Die, where he and I go shopping in his favorite market here in Connecticut, and then we go to his house and we cook and then we eat it. But we're talking about film and our lives and, feeding my dog. My son-in-law is playing the banjo. Come here, Timbo. My son-in-law is a great musician who I'll send you his album. He's a country western, but he's like...
Hey, well, hold on. Richard Belzer is our guest. He's got a new book out. That was a short segment. Long 18-minute segment coming up right now. Hopefully the first of many visits. I mean, I didn't know that we would have more cowbell, and I've been wearing this watch, where for quite a while joining us. I'm blown away right now. Dead Wrong. Get the book everywhere. Get it everywhere because it exposes the loving murderers that run things. This is dedicated to the fellow that just popped in with Richard Belzer. Right now, I'm just reeling in a good way from Christopher Walken suddenly popping into my Skype video. I think we've now reached the weirdest moment in InfoWars history. Amazing. Richard Belzer with David Wayne, afterward by Jesse Ventura, Dead Wrong. Did you say there's another website, belzerbook.com? Is that right?
Belzersbook.com.
Belzersbook.com. Belzersbook.com.
Or iBells, which is my website.
Absolutely, and we sell it at InfoWarsShop.com.
I really appreciate that, Alex.
Oh, you got to be kidding, man. I mean, we're all in this together, and I want this book to be #1. It is. Listen, I want to get into the book here, but as we went to break, you were dragging in your...
He's playing mandolin now for the show, but I'll get him in before I leave.
Okay, good. But let's get... And by the way, you've promised to come back on for a full hour next week because we're cutting you 10 minutes short because of this giant imploding story with what's happening with the Second Amendment and all the rest of it, and Dave Mustaine. But
I want to talk to you about that stuff. I think we're on the same team.
Well, yeah. Well, let's talk about that and then the book, because your book is
let's talk about the book right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
But next week, you got me for an hour, any week, any time.
Well, let's talk about the book right now. Tell us about it.
Well, as I said before, I'm cashing in on my celebrity for unselfish reasons, I hope. I used to be a newspaper reporter. I've taught school. I've had all kinds of jobs. And my father, when I was born, we were in the ghetto, what we would call a government project. We literally were on the wrong side of the tracks. The train went by our building. And then my dad borrowed money from my mom's father and started a little business. And then we moved to a 3-family house. Then we bought a ranch house. So it's like I've lived the American dream without kind of being able to articulate it. And now that I'm older, I really love this country. I really, I know a lot of people in Washington. I know I can't drop names, but believe me, Alex, I know some really heavy people, some people who are a part of the dark force. And I just feel that you and me and Jesse, and this is like, we're the Paul Revere's of the internet. I mean, we have to alert people. I know they're busy and they're obsessed with maybe getting thrown out of their house, and the banksters, as you call them, which I love. Did you ever see the documentary War, Alex?
Well, expand on that briefly.
There's a documentary by an English documentary that is one of the most amazing things, and it's like, I think it's only a year or two old. You just go on YouTube and put in War, one word, full movie.
Sure. Well, I know what psychological warfare is. I think I've heard of that movie. Tell me about it.
This movie talks about the invention of public relations in 1914 when the Rockefellers...
Oh, yeah, Edward Bernays.
Yeah. Well, they talk about him, and they talk about how he and his minions figured out that propaganda can be used to sell products. And Bernays was Freud's nephew. So he used psychological insight to manipulate humanity because he, like a lot of elites, look down upon us. They look down upon the people. They think that we need to be controlled. And it's disgusting, but mark that, have your people mark that down. That's a must for you, man. I'm telling you, you're going to go crazy. The footage is astounding. There's a guy at the BBC who they gave permission to go into their archives and do anything he wanted. And he found the most amazing footage. Anyway, the reason I'm going on about it is because it's right up our alley, and this timing now, the zeitgeist. I think, I agree with you that we're finally, I say that George Orwell was kind of wrong, because 1984 goes both ways. They can see us, but we can see them now. And the government's really worried about, as you know, they're trying to screw around with the internet. So my book, the style that it's written in is I'm very cognizant that people have no time. So it's very punchy. It's like a murder mystery, but you can't put it down. I have all the greatest footnotes, thanks to my partner, and timelines, FBI agents, forensic evidence, scholars, scientists. It's irrefutable.
It is irrefutable. The police report with the RFK deal, I mean, this is why I've tried to shut up here, is they held his arm down. He didn't shoot him. They knew it was a different caliber. We know who shot him, and it's the same in every case. They're so ham-fisted because they controlled the media then. They could do anything they wanted. So listen, this weekend, I've got Saturday and part of Sunday off. I'm not just saying this to hype it up. There's going to be something I'm sitting down with while my kids sit there and play board games, and it's going to be dead wrong because, again, as I said, I started reading just the first chapter. It is very well written and incredibly researched. Everybody has got to read Dead Wrong. Thank you, Alex. It's going to blow your mind, and I don't use that term lightly.
the reaction to the book has fortunately been quite amazing. And I think we're, with your help, we can build on this momentum and get. And David Wayne and I are writing another book called Hit List about all the people that died after Kennedy's murder. So we're gonna keep doing books. But the style of this book it's incredible. I'm not, I have to sell it, but it really is very readable. And I've read it a lot, obviously, but the way it's laid out, as you know, Alex, we just show the official verdict, the actual circumstances, then inconsistencies, and then we break it down. And it was really uncanny because David Wayne and I, we have a similar writing style. So it was like the gods smiled on us or something when we talk on the phone or he emails me, his sense of humor, his writing style.
No, you guys clicked. I mean, people that are into truth and liberty and freedom, it just clicks.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And he was quoting one of my quotes from a book before he ever met me, that he was signing off all his letters with my quote, which was, 90% of the people in the United States believe that John Kennedy was killed by a conspiracy. The other 10% work for the government or the media.
No. I mean,
it's no joke, but
No. But you're absolutely right. I've done an index of polls. Over 90%, over 90, usually about 91, 92, in scientific polls don't believe it. And then the tiny media elite in government, 8% points at us from their Byzantine hill and tell us we're freaks because we live in reality.
Yeah, well, you know what, Alex? I am sick of that. And I told I did a bunch of radio interviews today, local stuff. And I have no tolerance now for marginalizing this information. And that's why I feel the book is so bulletproof, because no one can refute anything in the book. And I'm so proud of that. And it took us a long time. But that's why I'm going around ranting like I am. And because it's, your term InfoWars, I mean, it's so important. And the book, Marilyn Monroe, for instance, I think we have 59 pages on her. A lot of people don't know the details of that. It's fascinating what was going on in her life. She didn't commit suicide. She was murdered. The first cop on the scene who we interviewed said, as soon as he walked in the door, he said, staged murder. Like the cops on the scene, that's who we talked to. Forensics, guys that were told to lie about Marilyn's death, guys that were told to lie about, Thane Caesar, right? I mean, Bobby Kennedy had powder burns on his hair. Sirhan was 10 feet away with Rosie Greer and George Plimpton grabbing his arm. He had an 8-shot pistol. There were 14 bullets in that pantry, as you know. And none of, the bullet in Bobby wasn't the same as Sirhan. And Sirhan, I don't know if you know this, Alex, but Sirhan was a hypnotic subject, which but someone found in hypnosis and in the CIA, they call it the key. You can get a hypnotic subject to reveal what happened to them. Usually they're programmed to forget. They commit a crime and then they're touched or whatever and they forget. But there's a tape of a guy breaking down Sirhan, and it's absolutely chilling. And but this book is just, like Dr. King was clear. James Earl Ray never fired a shot. He the only reason he pleaded guilty was so they wouldn't fry him. Dr. King's family believes him that he wasn't guilty. As you know, that famous photo where they're pointing at the shooter, James Earl Ray was at the same level as the balcony. So it wasn't a straight shot. It was, a downward angle.
But also, now with JFK, he was photographed at the scene. I've talked to his son.
Who?
Now I'm shifting gears to what happened in Dealey Plaza. I mean, I'm jumping around here, but it's all in the book. But I've interviewed E. Howard Hunt's son, who premiered video and audio here and on Coast to Coast AM, where he was admitting to it. In fact, he sued a newspaper when they said he was involved, and he lost back in the 80s. I mean, this is incredible. We even have the people that were famous black op killers admitting that they were there running the hit of JFK.
Yeah, that's true. And, he had an ear surgery, Hunt.
Yeah.
His ears stood out so much. He may have been one of the tramps, or he was definitely there. And then what happened, Alex, was he was on his deathbed. He thought he was dying, and he wrote this chart that you saw when you interviewed the son, breaking down the hierarchy and the cabal that murdered Kennedy. And then he rallied and didn't die.